All right. Welcome, everyone, to Overtime with Brendan Bartic and my good friend and business partner, Anna McKeel. Anna, welcome. We're excited this week. We're going to be talking about MOFIRs. A lot of times when we talk about trying to increase how much we make per conversation, what we find is that a lot of people don't have powerful programs that is separating them from the rest of the pack. And all that MOFR stands for is make offer for immediate response. And when we think about that, and you really try to think about companies that have built powerful MOFRs, if you will, or anything like this, it's the same thing that you see with, let's say it's maybe a window company, right? Maybe their offer is, look, we'll come out to your house, do a full window inspection, no cost to you. We'll make sure to see where, if there's any gaps in the windows or anything like this. Or you see it with duct companies for coming in to analyze if you have, the bad air or whatever it is, right, Anna? What is it called? Like, not lint, but I don't know, gross stuff in your ducts.
Oh,
And so
sure.
their make offer for immediate response is I'm going to offer something that's going to get me into the door and then either deliver on that offer or pivot to another part of my program that will maybe work for that client as well. So when we're looking at this, and I know we have amazing people joining us live, when we're starting to think this through, what we're really looking at is how do you start simple? Okay, so when you think about buying and selling real estate, and we're going to talk for today, we're going to talk and focus mainly on sellers, and we will have another one in the future on buyers. When we're talking about building out programs that are going to separate you from the pack, you have to decide what you're able to deliver on first. So, not all of us are going to be able to deliver on the same things. Now, we went over several in our Pulse Power session this week, talking about some of these concepts and ideas that you can offer that separates you. Now, before we show you the ones that we reviewed in our Pulse Power session, what I want to talk about is just slowing down for a second and thinking this through, right?
Yeah.
So it's right, Anna, because we had some people in the chat box like it doesn't have to be a sell your home in 60 days or I'll buy it. That's a great MOFR, and I'm going to talk about that one. But maybe it is when you go to list a house, you have every single house professionally cleaned. That's one of the things that is a differentiator in your package that you offer that's different than someone else. Now, you got to think this through though. When you're really thinking about a MOFR or any type of, I hate to call them marketing gimmicks, but marketing techniques, if it doesn't get someone to go, wow, that solves my problem or helps me massively and is enough of a differentiator that it's, the other company's not duplicating the same thing or whatever it is, then that's powerful enough to build a campaign around. And I've
Right.
seen agents do this with staging, right? We have people that, they'll offer complimentary staging and that's part of their package, or they have a design background or something like that. So does that
Well,
make sense? I mean, that's yeah.
yeah, I think one of the most obvious, but I don't think we talk about it, is think back 10, 15, maybe 20 years. The original MOFR was free shipping on Amazon. When you
Right.
buy something,
Exactly.
we give you free shipping. And it fundamentally changed online e commerce, right? And now everyone, when you buy $50 worth of goods, we give you free shipping across the US or around the world. So when we talk about MOFers, I mean, that's as simple as what it is going, ooh, I get something when I engage with you in your product line. In real estate, we're talking about buying or selling homes. So I think to just
Yeah.
kind of keep it
Yeah,
as
just
simple as
just
possible.
like Pizza Hut, right? We'll deliver your homes or
There
deliver
you
your
go.
pizza in 30 minutes or it's free, right?
There you go.
I watched a whole documentary on it, changed their entire company because
Yep.
of that one make offer for immediate response, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of different directions to go with this, but I do warn you and recommend to try to go smaller first and think about what you feel comfortable with delivering on. And then this is the other hard problem, Anna, with this subject is it's going to take some front side effort to structure it. Every one of the ones I'm going to take you through sounds like it's okay, sounds great, but I'm scared to do that. So was I. We were all, not to say scared, but intimidated by it. And so I called all the people that were doing that at the high level, and I was like, all right, if I wanted to do a sell it in 60 days or I'll buy their home program, there's got to be a lot of protections in place because are you just buying all these houses from all these sellers and
Right.
you don't want these houses? And they're like, no, of course not. We do end up doing it at times if it all makes sense, and I'll explain how that process works. But or maybe it's the fix-in list, right? We want to offer a fix-in list, but you either don't have an outside company to partner with that helps you structure it, or you don't feel comfortable fronting the money, putting a lien on the home, having your contractors go in and do the work, and then hoping to be paid out of the backside with the commission. But you should, because as long as you build the right protections in place, that's a very attractive situation to a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? They're going, I'd really like to sell my house, but we don't have enough to paint the exterior, and it hasn't been painted in 42 years. You come in and go, if I do this for you, take away that pain, front the money, and make it on the backside, would that be of value to you? You're going to make more over the net because more people are going to buy your house because they think it's in better condition, and so on and so on, so on.
For
Go ahead.
sure. Well, and I just wanted to add in there, oftentimes we get this question, well, what MOFIR should I be offering? What program should I be building? And really, we talked about it in coaching today. We had a great session, tons of engagement. But one of the questions that kept coming up is, sounds great. There's tons of MOFIRs out there. Which one fits? And we talked about identifying your ideal client, right?
Sure.
And not just having a one size fits all program. So let's speak to that and make sure that we have the mindset right of why would we even do a MOFIR to begin with? Who are we trying to serve?
So for this conversation, we're trying to serve sellers that are at different points with different problems to solve. So I'll start with cash offer, and as we talk through this, Anna, it's simple. When I started doing cash offers, if we want to think about this, all of us as real estate agents have the ability to be finding properties that we actually do want to purchase. We just don't want to purchase them at retail. And the sellers, a lot of these sellers are interested in selling their properties below retail, right? Below what current market value is, because they don't want to have to clean it, fix it, do anything to it, have people coming through their house. Some people have disabilities, which I've experienced many a times. Some people have a variety of pets. I've had everything from snakes to ferrets to expensive tropical fish, which was one that I had, right? And they were just worried that
Interesting.
someone would put something in their tank or do something bizarre. So, and then of course, people that have antiques. And then there's people that have drugs and have guns and have a lot of weird things on there, right? So in thinking that through, I think we get in our head of going, if Anna, let's just put it as an example, Anna wants to sell her house, and she needs to be in a certain place by a certain time, and she doesn't want to deal with the traditional process. What would that amount of convenience be for her when it comes to dollars? Now, let's say she's owned the home for 10 years. She's got $200,000 of equity built into the home. Is that convenience worth 30% of that equity? A lot of times the answer is 100% correct. Not 30% of the equity, excuse me, 30%, right, of what market value is, right, which of course then affects the equity, but is it worth that amount? And you'd be shocked by how many people say yes. Now, I want to talk about cash offers in a couple of ways. Is number one, when you're doing a cash offer, there are lots of companies that will actually do the cash offer on your behalf. So that's the latest thing. And they're all doing this because they're making money on it, right? They're making all this money on understanding that they're going, look, if we make this cash offer to this person on the house and we get it at a valuation that makes sense to us, more than likely these big corporations are going to hold it as a rental and go, we just bought an asset for 70 cents on the dollar, right? It, it should have been, let's say it's a $100,000 condo. $100,000 condo, seller was willing to accept 70,000. We're going to keep it, hold it, rent it, obviously, and keep it in our portfolio and make the money over time. And then either the company will decide to sell it as a portfolio product, or keep it for a long-term time and just make the money. The second piece, right, is looking at it and going, okay, or there's a lot of companies that'll they'll make the cash offer for you, then you sell it, and they just take the cash for basically loan sharking the fronting the money, right? They're just fronting the
So
money
they
on it.
get the seller out of the way, they're done, and now it's your responsibility as the agent to go sell that house.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then they still know if it doesn't sell, they'll just rent it. So they're not nervous because they got it. All of real estate success, as investors know, is it's made on the purchase, not on the sale, right? It's how we purchase the property. And if we purchase it correctly, then we're going to be in a good position. So that's the mindset. There's companies that'll do this. The second piece that, and again, if you've ever read the Millionaire Investor book, I point down to my bookshelf. You can't see it in this little window, but right, Gary Keller talks about this a lot, and all these investors talk about it. It's not just Gary Keller. Is going, if you find the deal, somebody will give you the cash to buy it, right? So if I know that I go under contract with this thing with certain contingencies that I can back out at a certain point, and I go shop around to my investors and I go, look, I've got a deal for 70 cents on the dollar right now. I'll assign it to you with a 5% finder's fee. There is someone else that'll buy that property for 25% under market value. You get 5%. And the whole thing works out well, right? And there's the whole piece. And then the third is keeping it for yourself. Now, even though you're offering a cash offer, you can use that to get in the door. And I'm not trying to tell you how to deceive anyone, but I'm just saying you can let the person know that I'm talking to Anna on the phone. And when I talk about not only on the phone, you're building marketing campaigns around this. So what I mean is, they call these yellow letters, right, in the investor world.
Sure.
So I'm going to send a yellow letter to her. We talk about golden letters. It's a yellow letter that says, hey, Anna, I'm an investor here in the area. I'm looking to purchase homes for cash. I came across your home. If you have any interest in selling, please give me a call. We can close in as little as 7 to 10 days with no fuss, no cost to you. Google online. There's plenty of example letters. Not a problem, right? And there's videos, tons of videos on YouTube that will explain how to do that, and we'll do probably more of them in the future. But for the sake of this conversation, so I'm going to, a MOFIR is make offer for immediate response. So I'm going to mark it out to a certain amount of people, and then they're going to respond, just like a golden letter. Golden letter, though, you're just saying, I have a buyer for your home. This is, I'd like to buy your home for cash. I can make you an instant cash offer immediately. Give me a call if you're interested. Now, obviously, this is neighborhood selective. I don't want to, because I don't want to say anything that I'm not allowed to say anymore, right? But you're trying to be in neighborhoods where you're thinking through and going, I bet number one, people could use cash in this neighborhood if something went wrong. B, there's a lot of sales happening in this particular area, so there's a nice turnover rate, right? Because I don't want to be sending cash offers to a neighborhood of $10 million houses, right? Because they're going to sell once every blue moon, and those people probably don't need the cash offer, and if they do, it's going to be hard to go get that financing anyway.
Yeah.
So you're trying to think this through strategically, and I'm just talking about how to make it a marketing piece, not only for that, but then you'll start leveraging this in your conversations at an extremely high level. to help break this process down. But I worry that people don't do this because they're worried that they don't have the cash. It's okay if you don't have the cash. I've had deals that I've done where I went in with a cash offer. You have contingencies in how you structure the offer. And I ended up financing the deal because the way that I had structured the offer is I said, look, I'm going to make you a cash offer. I'm waiting for one of my investors, one of my partners to come through with me. If they're not willing to make this cash within 7 days, then I need to change this to a financed offer. I already am pre approved for X amount and we'll still close in 30 days. Seller didn't care, had no problem with it. They didn't have to close in 7 days. Luckily, they were totally fine with a 30-day closing. They just didn't want to take it to market. So the idea of this is you got to get out there and swing some bats, hit some balls, miss some balls, get out there and start talking to people. But a lot of people don't want to deal with the inconvenience of having to deal with putting their home on the market. People are embarrassed, there's emotions. So a cash offer is an excellent way to provide a very powerful option that, and when I say 70 cents on the dollar, here, and I want to make sure I cover that piece because sometimes I say things and then people are like, so every deal has to be 70. You have to decide on what the deal needs to be to make sense for you. When I say 70 cents on the dollar, I'm looking at it, and sometimes I've structured deals two ways. I'll make him an offer at 80% of market value, right? So I'll look at market value, I'll show them all the comps. Sometimes even an appraiser's been involved, depending on the property and depending on the seller. And I'll pay you 80% of value with a 5% commission. So I'm really getting it for 5 cents on the dollar, right? I'm getting a 25% discount. There's other deals where I've been closer to 80, and I'll do 80 with a 5% because the property really didn't need that much work done to it. I mean, if I walk in and I need to wear a hazmat suit and it smells of pure, meth, then I have to think about my cost involved. And Anna, this is the other part that people get caught up with. They don't know how to walk into a house and estimate cost of repair, right? So don't get caught up on this. All the professionals out there, you can go under contract on your cash offer and then just go, I'm going to have my contractor come through within 5 days. And that's one of your contingencies. And then you can back out, right? Like you have all kind of fail safes built in here. But I think people get in their heads and they're like, I don't know what offer to make on this, right? It's going,
Right.
make an offer that you feel comfortable with, bring a contractor in that's going to bid it down or bid it up or bid it to let you know what the work is going to be able to do this and the time frame it's going to take. Then you make a decision to do that or not do it. And then if you don't, you cancel based on the contract parameters. But I think people just get so in their heads and go, this just sounds so scary. And am I going to be on the hook? And will I lose my earnest money? No, you have dates and deadlines. Structure it to your benefit. And then if the seller wants to accept, great. If they don't, we're going to be having a negotiations class on Thursday. We'll talk about the art of negotiating and how to help them through this. But Anna, when I think about negotiating, I don't really think about trying to negotiate. I try to present options. The more options we have, the more that I can work through. So if I have a cash offer option, if I have a sell your home in 60 days or I'll buy it option, if I have any of these fix and list option, if I have all these options, then I'm coming to the table with a variety of ways to solve the seller's problem instead of going, I charge this, put house on market, you sign here, and we hope that someone comes. That's just not going to get me as many opportunities as I might like, and it doesn't separate me from the competition.
Totally agree. And I think even just in the detail that we've gone over, one of the six, and there's certainly more MOFIRs out there than just six, but we kind of have a powerful six that we talk about on our YouTube channel and in our coaching. If you're going to choose a cash offer, identify the ideal client, and you do have to build a program. And sometimes in hearing that, people go, if there's work involved, I don't want to do it. But to build a program to double or even triple your income, whether they take the cash offer program or not, I think that's the thing that really has to, our brains have to kind of get cracked open about. people just want options. And when you can come to the table and go, I provide programs for a ton of different clients, it allows this person to go, Brendan sells a strategy and a program that's tailored to me. I want to work with someone like that, rather than going, like you said, I am real estate agent, I put sign in yard, right? Because then you're just like everyone else.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's boring. And again, that would be like going to Starbucks every day and they only have one type of coffee and one size cup, right? And they'd be like, you get
There you
black,
go.
medium, no sugar, no latte, no nothing. And they'd be like, that's our company. Now, you might just love that and you might find this one place that sells it and that might be your jam, but you're reducing your marketability to so many other people that
Huge.
it just hurts you. So
And it helps
so
you
this
get
still goes
into more conversations, right? Because, like
right,
you said, if you target your marketing appropriately, I might be curious and you practice the conversation of going, Brennan, this may or may not be a good option for you, but let's have a conversation so I know how to help you. Right. And that's
right,
really all we're trying to do with these MOFIRs is have more conversations to see if we can help more people. It's not guaranteed because you clicked on my cash offer link. Now you and I are in a real estate marriage. We're not. We're just having a
right,
conversation.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the difference is I think we're just trying to get more doors to open, sit down with more people, and I just look at it from a marketing perspective, right? I just try to look at it and
Absolutely.
go, what's going to get the phone to ring? And we were talking in our session earlier, it's all how far you want to take this, right? It's if you're going to have bus benches that say sell your home in 60 days or I'll buy it. If you're going to have billboards, you're going to be mailing and targeting a neighborhood. Those are all going to come from you mastered a program, people like it, and it's an option that they felt was viable to them that they could really use to help build their or that they could really use to get to where they want to go in the time frame that they want.
Let me ask you this,
So,
Brendan. If I were to build a cash offer program, could I also do a cash offer seminar so people could learn about that program? Is there anything else that agents can kind of position as far as marketing and coming from value of going, here are some of the programs I offer?
well, you can build it into your seller seminar. So when you're hosting a seller seminar, which you hopefully are doing once a quarter, and you're inviting people to come to that, one of the options that you would let them know is that you provide a cash offer program, a fix and list program if you do, completely stage your home program at no cost to you, and aka the cost to you is built into your compensation or aka commission, right? So yeah, you could have that explained to them in the seminars. But as I said, there are a lot of companies that are available to help do this because they have the money, they're just fronting the money, and then they're making the money back and you still get your cut. So it's just the agents just have to explore these different options and make sure that they know how to utilize them.
Yeah,
But as we go into, so if we can share the screen for just a
you
second,
got
and
it.
then I'll bring you right back. I just want to talk through these, right? So for everyone that's watching, these are six that we are referring to. Now, the first one is a program, a sell your home in 65 hours program called Sold in 65. Now, it's not guaranteed that we sell your home in 65 hours, right? Do you have any requirements for people that qualify for Sold in 65 program? That's a great question. Yeah, no, there's no requirements. Sold in 65 is a strategy on how we do the process. We're going to take your home to market. We do an entire pre-marketing process, and then we receive offers on your home and get you under contract in 65 hours or less. So the only requirement that we've found to answer your question is it doesn't really work for land. Every other property style, so I would say the requirement is it can't be vacant land would be one of the requirements because once you learn that program, and we have a whole nother course called List Like a Boss that can teach you all of that fun stuff, but um, it's selling a program, right?
I'm
Then
gonna
the
I want to jump in here on that because I think it's a great question, and then I'll get back on the screen. The other thing about that, Brendan, is it's for people that qualify for a traditional traditional listing program, but don't like having one-off showings, right? They've got 3 dogs, 5 kids, and every time we do an open house, they have to get the entire circus into the van and off to an activity. So oftentimes that's how we talk about requirements or qualifications in sold in 65 is they don't want to have the traditional experience because it's been painful in the past.
Right.
Yeah,
Or yeah, and that's a good point, Anna. And it's not only the one-off showings. In our Sold in 65 program, there's no open houses. We protect their home with
right.
an inspection protection program, so they don't have costly inspection items. So yeah, it serves a lot of different things. To that's probably the broadest
Right.
open market for a product, is because it works for almost anyone that doesn't want to do it the traditional way, which is I put my home on the market and hope and pray someone shows up, right? That's the traditional way. Instant cash offer, we talked about that. When you look at the fix and list option, now imagine, right, if you were to put this out in a letter when you had 2 or 3 of these, maybe you don't need all 6, or you're not ready to do all 6. What if you had a letter that you sent out to expire for sale by owners that had these options in it, and just go, hey, I saw that your property came off the market, or I saw that you're trying to sell your home on your own. A record that can get you the success you want in the time frame you want. I would love to talk to you about what your current home value is. Scan the QR code, give me a call, shoot me an email, blah 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 blah. Right. So fix and list, when we're looking at these, and we talked about this briefly, fix and list is just that you're going to allot a certain amount of money for repairs prior to going to market. So maybe it's paint, maybe it's this. There's other companies that offer these types of programs, or you just have the cash, and all you do is have a simple agreement that puts a lien on their home. And then in your listing agreement, you have yourself protected inside that listing agreement that says, in the verbiage, you can get this. You can just Google again, fix and list verbiage, and it'll come up, I'm sure, on the verbiage that you're going to put in to protect you as the agent. So if they default, they're either going to owe you the money, or you're going to put a lien on their house, and you are risking the fact that if they just bail and go, I don't want to sell, I forget about it, and you paid to paint the exterior of their home, or put a couple trees or bushes in their front yard, or whatever it might be, that you're not going to get your money out until they sell, right? And that's how your lien would get paid off. So is there risk? Yes, but there's protections that you put into place, and has to be a business decision that you're willing to make. Then the guaranteed to sell, we just talked about this. We'll sell your home in 60 days, 30 days, 90 days, or I'll buy it, depending on where your market's at. Now, this program, you haven't seen a lot of it because the market was on fire for a very long time. As we continue to watch days on market explode or increase in certain areas, then you're going to see this program become a lot more prevalent. You'll also see this program become very popular for homes that are unique, that are have a very weird type of exterior or buyers, because the seller is going, we tried to sell this 3 years ago, no one came, we're tired of dealing with it. If you can sell it in 60 days or buy it, we'd love to do that. And as I said before, it's just a simple process of protections. When you have the agreement with them, they're going to have an appraisal done. You're going to list it 2% under appraised value. If it doesn't sell in 7 days, you're going to have a 3 to 6% reduction, depending on how you decide to structure it. If it doesn't sell in another X amount of days, you're going to have another reduction. And I want to explain this before I run out of time. The whole reduction is going to end up being 20 to 25% under market value, appraised value, before you'll buy it. And then that also depends on how you decide to structure it with your commission. Desiree, I don't know if I will have to check with the attorney. Desiree, yes, I would normally say yes to you on this, and I would send you it, no problem. But we are in a very litigious universe right now. So let me check with the powers that be and the attorneys. But yes, if I'm allowed, I will 100% send it to you. Absolutely. Um, But yeah, you're just putting these protections in place, and then you're still, if you end up having to buy it, you're going to be getting this property for 25 to 30% under market value, and you're going to have almost 60 days to find a buyer, an investor that would just do it and buy it from you if you don't have the cash to do it. Now, the worry is if you get down to the very end of this and you don't find an investor and you don't do this, then there is at a point where you're going to be putting down earnest money on this because that's built into the agreement. So you are at risk of losing some money. But there's about 62 steps that would have to go wrong for you to end up being there, for you to either lose your money because you couldn't find an investor to buy it from you, even though they're going to get a heck of a deal, or you didn't have the money to do it. The trade-in one, and we're out of time and we'll bring this up next time. Trade-in is just that there's companies out there that offer to buy the home ahead of time, so the seller has cash in hand, the buyer has cash in hand to make a cash offer and doesn't have to worry about buying and selling at the same time. For that, the companies take a percentage. They also make that percentage less if you use their in-house lender. So sometimes they charge like a 3% service fee. If you use their lender, it's 1.5% on the money that they're paying you up front to move forward with. But just Google trade in my home and you'll get a bunch of companies that do that. And then the last one is companies that just provide a true buyer cash offer. You know those names of those companies. This is your Open Doors and your other Home Lights and your other companies that do this. What you don't realize is you can still negotiate your commission and they will still buy the home for cash. So you still get paid. They spend the money out on cash. The seller gets what they want and everybody wins, and you don't have to have an investor or spend your own money or risk anything, right? You just have to deal with more red tape because these companies want to, they have inspections and appraisals and do all of these different things to make sure that, of course, that they're not just spending their money on stupid stuff. So have options, right? And you can come on back. Thanks for sharing that. So, right, in conclusion, think about your seller MOFIRs. Think about the offers that you're making. If you have any questions on this, and like I said, if I can get the approval, Desiree, I will, info@brendanbartic.com, and we'll get you this custom letter, at least that you saw there. So that's an easy takeaway. We'll give you that letter, no problem whatsoever, so you can have those options and steal what you want, use what you like, but just make sure that you're constantly thinking, what can I do to serve more clients, to solve more problems, and stand out against the rest of the other. I mean, again, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, 99% of agents aren't doing any. We're doing 6. Most 99% doesn't have more than 1. So even if you just go, look, I'm gonna nail this fix in this thing. I think in my neighborhood or the area I'm farming will be extremely powerful. The cash offer, I really think I can nail that down. Get one working, then when you have time, add the next one. And any final thoughts?
No, I think we wrapped up this really well. We would love for you to join us every Tuesday right here on the Brendan Bartic Coaching YouTube channel for live overtime with nationally recognized coach Brendan Bartic. We are here to serve you, get more listings, more leads, and more leverage every Tuesday at 11:30 Mountain Standard Time. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye to our audience today?
Nope, just get creative. Start doing what others won't to have what others want, and you'll have everything that you want coming to you, right? So just have fun with it, be smart, and ask a lot of questions. And that's why you're on here. A lot of our people that are watching this live stream, you're the ones that are taking that extra time. All of this, you make more money with the more skills you have and the more offers you can provide to the sellers or buyers, right? So have a great week. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel. And go get some sellers.
Bye, everyone.